and he left me an A4 letter,
Right.
and it was just how proud he was of me,
Uh,
like, and what I've achieved. You know, it was all handwritten, beautiful handwriting, just old school. You know, being passed down. You know, just great attributes to have. That is, I mean, if I could write, I would do the same. But I'm not very good at spelling, so I just keep away from that. But it was touches like
yeah,
that. Do you know what I
absolutely.
mean? Things like that. And Nick was like that, and is like that. So that, you know, great times, great times.
Good to have you back with us, everyone. And what can I say? Hope you enjoyed part one of the John E. Morgan interview. We've already had some really positive feedback from many people who have tuned in, sent us some messages, those that know John, those that just recognise just what a cool guy is from the way he approaches golf in general. So thank you very much for the feedback that you've put on some of our posts. I've got to make a bit of a public apology. Why on earth did I say John Powell? Well, it's Joe Powell, for those that know, and I do get it right when we come towards the end of this week's podcast interview, which is the finale, really, of part two of the conversation that I had with John a few weeks ago. Really think you'll enjoy this one. We have a good laugh, but we also talk about some things that are very important to John, namely teamwork, namely his colleagues, family, and of course, projects that are very close to his heart as well. It's clear to me, it certainly was clear to me, that he is very much enjoying his time in golf right now, is enjoying how things are unfolding, but will always be known for having a bit of a laugh. So sit back and enjoy this one. Maybe you've already played part one just before this has been released, so it's a continuation. In that case, I'll shut up and let you get on with listening to it. Now, just going back to fitness, you might not have jumped in the gym left, right, and centre, but you liked a bit of swimming, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
I
Could say that.
I was watching that thing with Jamie Spence, and and then that whole
Oh
event,
no, that one.
that was
Oh
quality.
yeah, I came out covered in frog spawn.
What were you thinking?
Well, I just had an idea. I'm on this island. I think it was the Nordea Masters, and I think it was when Matt Fitzpatrick won one of his first ever events as a pro. I
Yeah,
think it was like second or third event, won. And yeah, that we were doing a link out on the thing, and he said, "I'll do the 18th, and you do the 17th." So I'm on this island green, and yeah, I said, "Look, I'll get in the water. I'll swim the lake. I'll come over to you just for a bit of fun." And obviously, I've had to kind of look at the camera, say my bit, and pretend I'm going in the water, take all the gear off because it's expensive gear that I'm
yeah, of
wearing.
course.
You know what I mean? Like all this electronic stuff, put it down on the ground, and then off I went. But I didn't realize it was that season where frog spawn was everywhere. And I came out, and honestly, I was covered, mate. I was covered in my ears, on my nose, in my mouth. I was like spitting it out. I was like covered in it. And it was so funny. I've come out, and I remember Thomas Bjorn was at the back of the green going, "What have you done?" or something like that. After he'd done the link, and I've come back in, and he's gone, "You're bonkers." I said, "You don't know half of it, mate." I said, "I do more than this, given a chance." So literally, yeah, there's another fellow on course who's just as nutty as me, is Radar. Obviously, I've seen him half naked with a Brian May wig on, doing the air guitar out, and I think that was in Bulgaria. I think it was. I think he done one there. But yeah, I'm kind of along that same lines. Like, don't mind dabbling in the craziness of what this game can give you, and yeah, it's all entertainment, isn't it?
Is that a bit like the time that you were asked to introduce yourself at the England selectors camp and you just started dancing?
Oh yeah, yeah. That probably sealed the deal. Why I didn't get as many caps as I should. I think they couldn't contain me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Zane Scotland or a couple of others that were in the training camp right then. Yeah, I was. Yeah, they said just get up. I think Gary Wussonover, you talked about, got up and said his bit and went on quite a while, like he was just talking about himself and what he wants to achieve and stuff like that and what he's done. So everyone was getting the thing, and it came to my go. And obviously, I just said, "Yeah, I'm I'm a Somerset boy, and I said, my passions are, golf and rugby, and I said I love music and I love to dance, and I just all of a sudden got up off my chair, chucked the chair to the side, and started breakdancing on the spot. Got my back, done a twirl, flipped back out onto my feet, and just went da. And some of the players are like looking, going, "Oh no, I don't have to laugh. I want to laugh really hard. This looks serious. John's lost it." And literally, I was just there. I was the jester for the team. You need a jester,
Yeah,
and I was one of them.
yeah.
You can't. No one could be the same. You can't have a bunch of robots.
I bet you would have been an absolute blinder in the dressing room of Ryder Cup. I bet. Yeah, I bet that would have made. Have you been close to Ryder Cup teams through the broadcasting? Have you had a chance to get out there and do any close work with any of the recent team events?
Nah, it's the ultimate dream. To me, it's the ultimate event.
Yeah,
It was the ultimate goal. Forget majors, being an individual, more of a team player. I was definitely always a team player.
yeah,
I just think to bring your passion and everything for your fellow person, to me, it elevated everything. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? It elevated because you ain't doing it for yourself. You ain't doing it for anyone, but well, the people the other side of the screen, the other side, just the crowds, the your team that are behind closed doors, what you talk about, the passion, you're feeling their passion is rubbing off. It's like Poulter when he says, "I guarantee a point." That's what it's going to make you feel like.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm going out. I'm doing this for them. I ain't doing it I ain't doing it for me. I'm doing it for them.
yeah,
I'm going to go and do this. It can get you really fired up. And like, is the ultimate for me. But I mean, I've been able to witness my fellow teammates and players play umpteen Ryder Cups and have accolades as long as my arm, like Luke Donald and Rosie, I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's just so many. And it's amazing. Sergio, uh, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
But they're just given a chance, I would have loved it, mate. It was definitely my wheelhouse, I think. Going to stay at Sam's house, Sam Torrance's house, and see his 12 Ryder Cups, just looking at him, just going, "Oh my God,
Yeah,
12 Ryder Cups." And that comes through playing captain, vice captains.
yeah,
You get one, it's just like, wow. Yeah, something else, mate. I mean, God, what I'd love to have been in, in Beth Page, that's for sure, shutting up the crowd. I'd have definitely loved that.
it was too close to comfort for my eyes. I couldn't quite cope. I mean, that almost made the Miracle Medina look pave into insignificance, because if they'd have just got another point, it would have been a miracle at Bethpage on steroids, because they had no right to be coming back. We all thought it was done, didn't we? Within reason, there's no guarantees, but what a comeback. That's gone overshadowed, really, hasn't it? But yeah.
Oh no, you can't take away that they're a great team.
Yeah.
America got amazing players, but they're individual players, and it came down to individual performances to make them come back at us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is it. Where we're more team related, and we all more pat on the back and hugs and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, they do it. They do it, but they don't do it to the intensity the European team do.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I mean, there's a definite form and bond that is far stronger, superior, I think. And I mean, it got out of hand with the crowd, but that's just,
You could say that.
intensified through where you are.
Yeah.
New Yorkers are great, fans, but they're mental, they're crazy, they're drinking as well. It's all happening. It's all happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening. So.
So putting to one side for a moment the fact that we could probably both agree that Luke Donald could be the captain for as many Ryder Cups as he chose to get involved with, who would be your top three potential?
What, for Adair Manor?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been saying it till the cows come home. Justin Rose, Justin Rose, Justin Rose. I just seen it, but I also see Justin Rose being able to possibly play at Adair Manor.
Yeah.
Because the guy keeps himself in great shape, great game. Definitely want him on your team.
Yeah.
Got it between the ears.
Yeah.
Massively. Big time moment player. it's I'd have Luke again. Does Luke want to do it? I mean, it's a tough job, I'd imagine. I can't speak for Luke. I mean, he's done 2 now, and he's played umpteen of them. I mean, the strain has got to be on family, time away, doing this,
Yeah.
obligations, the whole lot. I mean, he's 2-0. I mean, but Adair Manor, 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
100th anniversary. Oh, be a nice achievement. I mean, I also thought Harrington, I don't know, see, I don't know all the ins and outs, but being Harrington, being Irish, being over there, Whistling Straits, there was kind of, there weren't many there and stuff like that. No Europeans there, like fan base and stuff, couldn't really travel, blah, 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 all this going on. Would he be worth having another point? You're good friends with JP McManus, who owns the Dare Manor.
Yep.
Would he be a good egg, and would it be system overload? I don't know. They kind of been the 3 I would go at. I thought Frankie for a bit, quite quiet Frankie. You need someone who is willing to speak, who speaks well. Has got, yeah, I'd have to pick those 3. I'd bring Harrington back into the fold, possibly, if he wanted it. And I would obviously have picked Rosie, and obviously, no doubt, Luke. So, and that's where I go. Unfortunately, there's, you could pick a boatload, couldn't you? But
Yeah.
they're lying where they're lying now, with their choices that they've made, and that's unfortunately the rules that have been put in front of them, that they won't be able to be captains. So unfortunately, you've got to take those out of the equation.
Yeah, it's actually segues me nicely to a question. You've got the PJ Tour, you've got the DP World Tour, and then you've got sort of sandwiched, or as an off branch, whatever you want to view it as, Live trying to bridge the gap or find a place. In your opinion, where do you think golf is right now?
Oh, it's caught between a rock and a hard place, isn't it? It's peculiar. I think the best product on paper definitely is the DP World Tour, traveling the world here, there, and everywhere. I think, money driven, and the style of golf course and getting around one country, simplicity of the PGA Tour is massive, unbelievable. You can live a great lifestyle, like Rory's already said. It's given him a lot over there, but the DP World Tour definitely branches it out to the masses. And Live has come along with a whole different format, team driven, which I like. I like a team driven kind of vibe, but also it's just not, I don't know. It's just going away from what the norm is. Okay, you're trying to create something new, and they've got a load of money. I mean, it would be lovely if, Saudi Arabia came in and said, look, here's a pocket full of cash, DP World Tour. What do you reckon? Let's give it a go. And I think you shouldn't be all one-sided. If Saudis went to go and invest now on the PGA Tour and it became just the PGA Tour, it'd be too big, too one-sided. You've got to have 2 just, to help one another achieve things, and you've got to have a lovely divide and a friendly divide. I think just stuff like that. I see, the DP World. I mean, if they came into some serious cash, I think their product would be off the charts good.
Yeah.
Off the charts good.
Yeah.
Literally, it already is amazing, phenomenal. But an injection of money would see a lot more people turn up to play. The strength in depth would be massive. The style of golf courses we get to go and play, the different grasses we're playing on, different cultures. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, look, when we go to Kenya, Magical Kenyan Open, it's phenomenal. You should see the buzz around town and on the golf course, the locals getting involved. When we used to go to Morocco, phenomenal. India,
Yeah.
you see the locals come out. Asia, Australia. I mean, we're going back there again. Amazing, amazing tournaments. South Africa, joke, so good. Mauritius, locals come out. We're going everywhere.
Yeah.
We're going absolutely everywhere. You name it, we go there.
Yeah.
And I love that. For that reason, I love it.
And that makes sense why it's now called the DP World Tour rather than
World Tour, yeah.
Because it is a worldwide, multicultural experience tour. Yeah, it's a good shout actually. It's fantastic.
It's a logistical masterpiece, mate.
Yeah,
The people I work with, I'm so lucky.
yeah,
I tip my hat to them. I literally, I mean, budgets are being cut or whatever it may be, and different ventures going down, trying to incorporate this, taking a bit out of that, putting that in, and doing this, that, and the other. You watch the brains behind it.
yeah,
It's phenomenal.
yeah,
I take my hat off to all the producers, directors, the people that are organizing it in any way, shape, or form. The people on the ground, the cameramen, camera women, all over the place. They're not in one place twice to think what's going on. They ain't
yeah,
got, it's can't tell their ass from the elbow half the time because they're in a different country every week.
yeah,
But they're able to get a great product out, amazing product out, and, I love them to bits. I mean, they give me a job and I love them for it. And they put up with my craziness every week. So it's, but it's a team vibe. It's a great team vibe. You know what I mean? You do feel that. You do feel that. And there's some wonder people out there. There really is.
yeah. But I think just for me, John, without blowing smoke, you keep it real. You give a real interesting, unique um, um, view on what you're seeing on the course from not just playing experience, but you're not afraid to wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit, well, while staying within guidelines, I'm sure. And it's a good listen. In fact, the whole of the commentary team for Sky, which you work with, um, is brilliant. Is great at what they do. Keep it very, very real. I got to speak to a couple up in the media tent at St Andrews.
Mm.
We're hopefully having Incy come on. Obviously, we're speaking to you now. Josh Antman has agreed to
Yeah.
chat with us in a few weeks. Great family, right? I would presume from what you're saying and from the team that you've got there.
Yeah. I mean, they're all professionals. I mean, I could go listers, listers got shorter over the years. A few people retired or laid off or whatever like that, or ventured down different routes and stuff
Yeah.
and bringing new people on board, but all like-minded, lovely people, and passionate. I mean, first and foremost, you got to love the game.
Yes.
Number one, you got to be addicted and love the game.
Yeah.
We all love the game. We absolutely live and breathe it. The intricacies of what you give, from the lovely, misunderstood Mark Rowe, who's just a ball of energy, just waiting to go off at any time. I mean, he's unreal.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. You give you his last penny. Spency, exactly the same. Jamie Spence, lovely. Just a highly intelligent golfer, funny, dry, brilliant. Rob Lee, full of charisma. Just Loisvik Coulthard, stalwart, would,
Yeah.
have a massive arm around you. Nick Doherty, words of his wisdom. He's older than his years, and he's the golden boy in front of a camera. Wally, just loves the game, beating balls for fun, lives and breathes it. Highly intelligent goal. You got me a little bit, who's a bit scattier, a little bit wilder, a little bit more shoot from the hip, and a little bit more just sees the outrageous shot, not necessarily the sensible shot. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll get it wrong, and I'm quite forgetful or whatever like that. But I mean, I could go on and on about the whole cast, and I can't say a bad word about any of them. I really can't. You got the passion from the ladies, with Incy and Iona and Henny and,
Yeah.
Laura, the legend, I mean, it just keeps going. Sarah, been in the box for donkey's years, it's in the studio. It's amazing. Tim Barton, enthusiasm. Oh my God, words of wisdom in the swing and what he does, you just hear him. Radar, I mean, the guy's a comedian. He doesn't know it. He just shoots. He's just unbelievable. I mean, one day I'm sure he'll come on your podcast. I hope he does. And he'll tell you, he'll have you bent over double, mate. He'll have you bent over double. The guy's one funny dude, and he gets, go around a golf course and everyone wants a photo with him.
Yeah.
Rightly so and all.
Absolutely.
He's got that character.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, mate.
Yeah, we've reached out because he is, as you say, one of the characters of golf. I just going back on one of the people that you mentioned there, and Nick, good friend of yours for many, many years,
Yes.
got you out on tour, pulled you sort of out of what you were doing, and said, "Come on, you need to be playing at a much better level." But what a great transition he's made. He's just so natural in front of the camera, isn't he? He's just almost
Yeah.
born for this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's got this inner confidence, man, and he's had to work hard at it. He'll tell you that himself. I
Yeah.
mean, he was, his first marriage with Di. She would have helped him quite a bit in his development in front of a camera because that was her role. And I'd imagine, he's looking at a different angle, and he's definitely got some points, but he's used his own charisma, and balanced it out lovely. And he's had some time from the big guns at Sky to help him get over the line and get in front of the camera and get him working right. And I mean, he still plays lovely golf,
Mm.
absolutely beautiful golf. Yeah, I mean, fair play to Nick. He comes across right. He says the right things, and he can flip it as well. You got the methodical man like Paul McGinley say.
Yes.
He's Mr. Methodical.
Yeah.
But everyone likes a methodical kind of guy. Someone who's just analyzing something so detailed. It's like wow, and yeah, it resonates with me, but also is over my head.
Yeah.
I see it too simple than
Yes.
say Paul. But I mean, all these guys, Tony Johnson, he's just such a energy driven guy. But just going back to Nick as well, it's just he's got that job as long as he wants it. I'd imagine. He had big shoes to fill with Livo,
Yeah.
and and he's filled it. He's
Yeah.
filled it. And Livo probably is over the moon that, someone like Nick has taken the reins off him and is leading the way. Very good. I mean, it's amazing, really. It's
Because
amazing.
live TV is not easy. You can't start tripping over your words and making sense. And I listen to him sometimes, doing podcasts, etc. And I've done a bit of public speaking, and I listen to the way he speaks. And I think it's probably not effortless, but it's very composed when he speaks.
Yeah, he breathes.
Yeah.
Some people don't breathe, and you can get caught up in the whole
Yeah.
thing if you're feeling the buzz of it as well. Sometimes you can get ahead of yourself, and the question that is given to you, it naturally just goes over your head because you just, I don't know, you're in the moment, something, and you've forgotten your words, and then all of a sudden you try and blag it, and you know if you blagged it or not, or someone might know you blagged it or not. The question because you just didn't quite get it, but I think Nick is just able to just go at a lovely pace. Nothing's rushed.
Yeah.
Everything looks like it's got plenty of time. The words are great. He's a lovely guy. He's always listening. Yeah, good egg. I mean, shows you the marks of the man. I'll tell you now. Nick probably won't remember this, but well, I told him about it, and he said, "Oh, I can't remember that." But I remember when I got my US tour car and I was flying back. I went straight to Mauritius, and he was going to be there. So I'm like texting him and blah blah blah, and he sorted out like a catamaran. We were going to go out for a party or something like that. And I've just done a running bomb off the catamaran at midnight or something like that in shark infested waters, being a nutter like I am, and I'm swimming around there. Everyone's trying to get me in the boat and stuff. And then he left me just as he was leaving the day before me. He left me an A4 letter.
Right.
And it was just how proud he was of me, like and what I've achieved. It was all handwritten, beautiful handwriting, just old school, being passed down, just great attributes to have. That is, I mean, if I could write, I would do the same, but I'm not very good at spelling, so I just keep away from that. But it was touches like that. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. And Nick was like that, and is like that. So that, great times. A lot of, amazing, really. It's amazing how the world's just shaped like this and how it's just unfolded and gone along from starting up the game at 6 and hitting it with my granddad and dad to joining my first golf club to then coming up through, and then the kind of people you meet along the way, and, just how those kind of a selection kind of stay with you for the whole journey and still with you to this day. It's ridiculous. Coincidences.
Yeah, it's funny that you said earlier about that sort of chance meeting in Spain. Do you think that that's how it works to this day? Having having an opportunity just come across your path, or do you think that it's very much about you have to be fit, strong, hitting it over 400 yards, and then you get noticed? Because it seems to me that actually learning how to craft out unbelievably like Ballesteros type shots,
Oh,
are a thing of the past now. You just have to hit it far.
well, the wall outside here, this used to be an old garage, right? Knocked it down. I built my little bungalow by the side of mum and dad's house. And, there was a bit of a grass down the side and used to use ping pong balls inside their house. I mean, it's not a very big house at all, but I was like, ping pong balls so I didn't break anything. And I had a little, lob wedge I could use and stuff. And I'd just be hitting it, winter with longs and just too cold and, stuff like that. But I used to just hit shots up against. I used to put little bits of chalk up on the
Right.
bricks because it's just and I used to just play flop shots and just touch the bricks. Flop shot, touch bricks. Flop shot, touch bricks. Just thing, and then hit the ping pong ball over the cars to the other bit of grass around the front of the house and stuff like that. And just didn't have long enough to do that. I used to hit over my dad's car. Well, when he was at work, or whatever like that. Because if you'd have seen me, you'd give me a clip round the ear. But just anything. I used to ride my bike to the golf course from Gordano School where I used to go, and then that was a 5-mile hike on my bike, and just get there even for an hour of daylight. You know what I mean? That was all it was. But I never went. I wasn't a range rat. I was always on the chipping green and the putting green. That's all I ever stayed on. I love to see the ball disappear. And I was chatting to, funny enough, coming back from South Korea, it was nice to chat to Joe Dean.
Right.
And, Joe was just saying he's too much of a range rat, too obsessed with the swing, and all this and stuff, and not enough time on the short game. And, there's something he wants to change. He's just got in that top 70, so he's in Abu Dhabi. And, he's, doing his thing now. And, yeah, he just says, that's something he needs to work on more of a focus. And I'm a big believer, work on your weaknesses. Just work on your weaknesses. I mean, if you're already strong in these areas, they ain't going to
Yeah.
leave you. They ain't going to
Yeah.
leave you. Just work. I mean, look at what a great example is Marco Penge, our man who's second on the order of merit. That guy's just worked on his wedges like you wouldn't believe, taking stuff off, like taking spin off, like hitting the gentle ones. And all of a sudden his wedge play is a joke. He's giving himself opportunity after opportunity. And that's what it comes down to. You just got to give yourself loads of opportunities and get it as close as you can. The proximity to the hole. That's a great stat for anyone. Get that ball as close to the hole because you're going to hole a lot more from 6 foot than you would 15 foot. That's for sure. So it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Do you think I'm a stats person. I get a bit too lost and caught up in stats. But when you look, the tour does a great job, as does all tours, of showing, where you are ranked, whether it's putting, greens in regulation, whether it's drives, missed drives, par saves, sand saves, you name it. Do you think that if you want to push yourself up the order of merit and win some shekels each week, that it is more or less the putting that you need to nail? Or would you is it a combination? Because I spoke to Richard Mansell, and he can strike it. He got beautiful.
Oh, can he?
Swing,
Awesome.
lovely, languid, slow takeaway, and then delivers it with such amount of power. And then, he has a couple of bad weeks and puts a few things on social media. I need to do this, that, and the other. And I don't know him very well. I know a reasonable amount about the game. I wanted to just say, because I went and looked at the stats, and I don't have the stats to actually lie or tell the truth. I wanted to say, just go and work on your putting, because you're right down. Now, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on what actually is the money makers in professional golf?
Well, I think it's a good question because I think the stats don't lie, and there's always a place in the stats that says that's what you got to work on. Like for me, I look at Richard and I think the world of him as a player. Him and Marco were on the Europro, and I remember me and Kit were working together, and we had to pick who we were going to win the order of merit, and I went Richard Mansell, and he went Marco, and Richard picked Marco right to death. And it was like great, and we was looking at their games and going, wow, amazing. And there's a lot more body with regarding Richard's game. Do you know what I mean? He's a lot more rotation, just one piece and everything like that. Now, would it suit him that I say chuck a little bit of hands in there for your wedge play, something like I remember when he had that big lead at the Dunhill Links. You know, I was thinking, you know, we were watching him, and you know, the wedge play just wasn't there for me. You know, I thought, you know, when he's on, definitely. But if there's nerves or there's a little bit of tension, you know, the body doesn't. It's hard to just keep the body doing the same thing where the hands can save you a little bit. Do you know what I mean? That little bit of
Yeah,
flair, Seviesque. You know, we'll just go down that road. You know, they can help you out. They can save you a little bit. And maybe the putting, where you've just said, you know, work on your putting, is probably his proximity to the hole where
right.
he's getting the wedges into the
Yeah,
green, because obviously he ain't a bad
mm,
putter. He ain't a bad putter. You know, I've watched him loads of times. You know, when he's on, he's awesome, and you know, he could have. I think he should have probably 2-3 more wins under his belt than he already has, Richard. That's how good I think
yeah,
he is. I mean, it's hard though. You know, the players nowadays, it's so hard to have every facet covered. There ain't many that have ever been able to achieve it. You know, if any, you know, you could still pick the bones out of Tiger. I know that's hard to believe, but you could say that you're away with off the
mm,
tee, you know, and, you know, only because he was hitting it too hard. But then you look at everything else, you go, top trumps on
mm,
everything. You know, he's top trumps, you know, trump card. He wasn't the longest. He wasn't the longest. Long
mm.
enough, by far, long enough. But Richard, I love his style of game. I really do. And I just love the different swings. He's got a different style of swing. Got that lovely
Mm.
swagger, lovely personality, lovely wide family over in Dubai. Loves it, doesn't he? Absolutely loves it. Looks, he really does. So I'm over the moon
Yeah,
for him.
I think there's a lot to be said for attitudes as well. We had someone's become quite close to the podcast is Brandon Robinson Thompson. What
Yeah, oh, a
a
lovely lad.
lovely man! I mean,
Yeah, he is.
attitude is so grateful. He's so sound. Uh,
But that's why he's gone like this, though,
yeah, exactly.
Mark. It's because that's why he's on the way up, mate. It's because he's got a great attitude, personable. You know, it's going to attract he's going to attract sponsors massively. His personality, he's going to be able to mix well. You know, pro-ams, you know, these guys play, you know, God knows how many pro-ams when you're at the top of the tree. And, you know, he's going to be great with the people. He's given loads of time. He's just recently got married. You know, he used to have long hair when he was on the Europro. Now he's got short hair. You know, welcome to my club. But it's, you know, at the end of the day, he's a good egg, and I love his game. He doesn't really put a foot wrong either, you know, and he's walked the
Yeah,
walk, so he can talk the
yeah,
talk. He's done the whole 9 yards. He's had to think, oh, I don't know if I'm made for this,
right.
you know, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? And then once he's got through it, he's now harder than
Yeah,
everyone else. He's going to be hard to beat. You know, he's a good egg. He's a strong egg
yeah.
as well. You know, he's been there. He's done it.
Yeah, and he's clearly got a synergy with his coach, Liam,
Mm,
who's sound, absolutely sound, getting
yeah.
traction with a few other players. And it's one thing I saw, dare I say it, with Ben, you know, because for everything, you know, negative you could infer with some of these tour players of the last couple of decades is a whole stack of positivities. But I was up close and personal with Ben, and he would tinker a lot, and he'd move from coach to coach. Someone like
Yeah.
Brandon, he's bought into the system, he believes into the process, and he's grinding it and grinding it and grinding it out. And as you just rightly said, he's producing results on a line which is going the right way.
Yeah, but it comes through momentum. Momentum is the biggest thing, right? As soon as you've got
Yeah,
momentum,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
off. You are off. And one thing is about momentum, you don't think of too many things when it's going your
Right.
way, right? And the longer it lasts, the more confidence, the more levels you go up, and the more chance you are of staying there and learning from the momentum you've just created
Yeah.
for yourself. Because literally, I mean, that's the only reason I was able to do what I done. Momentum, you know, one foot in front of the other. I was like, great result after great result after great result after great result. Just naturally unfolds. You know, this is why, you know, someone like, so Brandon, something's clicked, and he's just rode that momentum, and it's got him where he is now. You know, look at Marco. You know, he's like this, and he's
Yeah.
like that. But he's found something, and he's got some momentum. He's got some momentum, and he's gone off like a rocket. You know, he's on his way to the moon right now. So you know, it's like fair enough. And it happens to all of them. You know, look at Tiger. I mean, that momentum was
Yeah.
ridiculous. You can't, you know, probably lowest point was the Walker Cup when he lost to Worcester. But then as soon as he turned pro, I mean, the momentum was ridiculous. As soon as he won in '97 at the Masters with a record kind of score, it was like,
Yeah. See it.
yeah, off he went. It was like, yeah, no one's holding him back now.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, when it comes to like you and seeing these players and working out on tour, how does your schedule work? Because obviously you're back now. A few of the other boys are out
Mm.
there in Abu Dhabi. Do you have a schedule at the beginning of the year? Do you tell them what you can do? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what kind of level you're at within the workspace. You got your, you know, I didn't get to achieve what I would have liked to have achieved in the game. There's a lot of guys who've achieved a lot more, got a bit more experiences. So, they get the big seats, the big jobs and stuff like that. I get a chance as well. Show my kind of personality or whatever and my passion for it. But yeah, the kind of it comes through roundabout now. Actually, we're all talking. People's schedules kind of unfold around about
Right.
now and. I mean, it's a juggling act for the masses. You got people want to have a little go, a new venture like Nico coming in now.
Yeah.
You got a lot more David
Mm.
Howell, you can talk the hind legs off a donkey. He can just keep going, and he's brilliant. So you got people like that. So and people they want to hear these guys. You got like Howler's played Ryder Cups and done this and done that, winning Ryder Cups, and so Nico, they want to hear these guys. They want to hear them. And rightly so. And look at the multiple winners that there's been that are on the teams. For that share the mics. It is outstanding. It really is, and they've all got an amazing
Yeah.
story. Great stories. I mean, Coulthard's got some beauties. The list goes on. The list goes on. Tony's got some absolute belters. And obviously, shout out to his mate who we're going down Nedbank. Is going to be his last swan song, and that is Dale Hayes, the only one and only Big Dale Hayes. Yeah, it's going to be his last
Right.
hurrah.
So that'll be the next time you're out.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the next time. I'm on that run in South Africa, which I love. So I'm doing Nedbank, Dunhill, which is at Joburg this
Yeah.
time, Royal Joburg, not at Leopard Creek, and then off to Mauritius. So a nice little run. Been very fortunate, very lucky. I'm super lucky. It's just may long it last for as long as it lasts. I'm happy. If not, then I'll have to go back and do some tree surgery and put my body on the line again. Nothing wrong with that. I quite
No,
like it.
absolutely. Being out in nature. So let's finish on something which I really wanted to talk to you about briefly, or for as long as you like, actually. Joe Powell Golf. When we met, you were wandering around St Andrews with a golf club in your hand, weren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, there is still a huge, huge love affair with these type of clubs, and I can see behind you your collection. There's a lot of, from what I can see, persimmon clubs there, and it's obviously a passion of yours. It's a passion of many people that never want to see this technology die. What brought you into that, and where do you see it going next?
Oh, well, nostalgia. I look at moments where persimmon. This is what it is. You had persimmon, or you had a laminate kind of club, wooden club. You had hickory before that, but I just think I remember what's ever stuck out in my head is Seve at the 10th at Belfry. Cutting one on there. And how pure you had to be. You couldn't hit 7 bells of crap out of it. If you did, it came with a penalty. If you're slightly off the middle, the ball was going sideways or nowhere.
Yeah.
So rhythm was a dancer, as the song says it. It's like, you had to time it absolutely pure, and, you'd reap the benefits out of it. And all my idols, from Woozy to Lyle to Faldo to Torrance to, Tony, to all of these guys, Langer, all through the years have been like, that's what they played with when I got the bug. And funny enough, I just had a Joe Powell persimmon, a PT1W was given to me by the head pro at Clevedon, and I play with that, and I play with that all the way through. And I was probably the last person to ever play with a persimmon. I think everyone went to metal, and I was still on it because I had it down the middle with a little draw all the
Yeah.
time. And the ball flight was that little bit lower, and we had blatter balls. The shape was more, outrageous. I mean, you'd shape the ball a lot more. I mean, you'd have to work the ball into greens and pins a lot differently than you do
Yeah.
now. I mean, I mean, unfortunately, I think Billy said it again in that, Billy Foster said it in the other podcast the other week. He said, the technology has kind of ruined, it's gained a
Yeah.
lot, and a lot of traction. It's got a lot more people involved because now they can hit a golf ball because the heads are bigger and the sweet spot's bigger and everything like that. But the downside to it is the creativity is kind
Yeah.
of gone. Do you know what I mean? Because the golf courses have had to get a little bit wider or longer, and they want to see more power. Hit people are in the gym. Fair enough. It's become more of a sport like that. You used to have people like me play, with a bit too much, you know, uh, a rubber tire around their waist, and and just lean on a few, and just great hands and work ethics and stuff like that. But I mean, the craftsmanship, the British club makers, Harry Busson to Peter Broadbent and Gibson and stuff like that, and then you obviously got the big stalwarts like McGregor and stuff. But we were able to bring Joe Powell over to Britain now, and we're able to make these things, and was able to make a nice one on that back of what Harry Diamond asked me to do for Rory. We made a career slam one for him and give it to him at the Scottish, and he ripped it. He said I could have played in any era. I was like, that, oh, lovely,
Yeah.
what a lovely line. And they can take a modern day ball quite well. I mean, what was it? I think it was at Troon. I think Ricky Fowler seen me at the Scottish Open the week before, and the Open was at Troon the next week, and Ricky held on to this club I had. It was a glass track. It was the insert was made of glass, and was it Bernard Langer won his first
Oh.
Masters in '85 with that particular club, and so anyway, Ricky had it, and I'd meet on the range to get it back, and he was like, "Cool, I like that. I really like it." And then Bryson turns up, and Bryson then just says, "What's that? Can I hit it?" And I'm thinking, "Oh no, he's going to break it. This is
Yeah.
it. The way
Of
he hits
course.
it, how hard he hits it. Is it going to be able to take it?" Well, I took it, and he loved it. Absolutely loved it. Ripped it as well. Fair enough. I mean, it just shows you it can take a modern day ball, and add a bit more shape on
Mm.
it. I think it needs it. You're lacking. I mean, I've done the old comparison around my own golf club. It's only 20, 25 yards difference, but the sweet spot's so much
Mm.
smaller. Do
Mm.
you know what I mean? I'm just hearing through the grapevine they're about to change a bit of St Andrews, putting bunkers
Yeah.
here, tees back, and I'm like, oh no, don't do
Yeah.
it. You got the power to reel something else back. You know what I mean? And make that course still strong and hard for the masses. Just I know it's all money at the end of the day. I know it is what it is, but there's something about it though, mate. I think it's a beautiful work of art. You get a better feedback on what your swing does from an old school kind of golf club. I think it's a lovely feeling. I think you know where you stand with it. I think if you were swinging poorly and you had some, you were too into out to in, or you're hooking it, slicing it too much, or whatever you're
Mm.
doing, coming up on it too much or whatever. This is the type of golf club. If you got one, it would teach you a few things. You know what I mean?
So how do you go about
You get
marketing this sort of thing? Because it's hard enough to bring a new brand to the table, and they're not a new brand, by the way. Let's just make that clear. Absolute OG, really, Persimmon Woods. But
yeah.
when you, as you've just rightly said, got such a push towards high tech, wind drag, sweet spot, carbon face, and all the new stuff, how do you? Where does this brand fit into the modern game?
Where does it fit into the modern game? Good point. I think. So I mean, it takes a certain kind of tournament, or
Mm.
I don't know if it fits into the modern game as such. I think that we moved on too far for it to be able to come back into the fold anymore. I mean, it would take someone of some serious stature, like a Rory or someone right high up there to say, like, when we have a tournament like this, and then all of a sudden people will start
Yeah.
looking. It would take something like that. You'd need a big name behind it. it's not going to do it. I'm not going to move the needle as much as I talk about it, but I think what, you can't pass comment unless you've tried
Yeah.
one. I think when you tried one, like Rory loves it, like a lot of them love it. A lot of people love, like I just made it for the Højgaard twins and Rasmus Nergård Peterson made them one. They absolutely love it. They can't get enough of it. Like Billy Horschel phoned me out. I'd like one, John. Da 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 da. It's like this goes on. Ryan Fox, you know, made one for his dad and put the All Blacks logo, the fur on the bottom, and his caps down the side and stuff like that. Amazing, absolutely amazing. But yeah, it would be nice to have a tournament. They do persimmon tournaments, but it's not kind of, well, it needs to be more people getting involved. There's a lot of people out there, like I'm parts of different group chats that, they just love the whole like Napa putters, the bladed putters, blades, lovely old sand wedges, and obviously these, you got many to choose from. I got loads. There's many. Joe Powell used to make the tour model for Titleist. They used to make it for loads of different companies. And then McGregor. They're probably the Don Juans of their day. Jack Nicklaus and all that. We're playing with them, like Tony Penners and stuff like that, and Tommy Armours. Wood Brothers, came along in like the late 70s, early 80s, and they were amazing, and they made amazing persimmons as well. Yeah, it's just those, mate. Get a lovely little forward. Mine was a power built forward I had, um, and citation power built forward, and a Joe Powell PG1W, and we've got loads of other brands, but just nice to bring this one over here and try something. And we're going to make some irons, some wedges, all relevant, all modernized for the masses. And then, we're making putters as well, really old school, lovely putters, and, things are in the pipeline to do more. But it's all money injected. We've got great logos, lovely logos, looks very, it's going to be high end, definitely high end, bespoke. And yeah, it's got the bug. People have got the bug, and a lot of people are interested. And may long it last. We're not here to make a complete fortune out of it, that's for sure. But we love what we do. Me, Scott, and Emma, who's my partners. That we went and got. It's been a great venture. You know what I mean? They take care of all the, the financial vibe of it, like working the books and doing the head covers and stuff like that, and everything else, putters, you name it. And what's this space? The Dare Man, it'd be nice if we could get a wood into the player's locker or anything like that, or go to the merchandise tent with a handful and see if the masses want them with their logo on it. That'd be pretty cool. All that jazz, mate. You know what I mean? So so hopefully I could touch up JP McManus, and hopefully he wants something for a Dare Man. That'd be pretty good. Like the Open as well, having something with the claret jug on it would be pretty amazing to make something for the Open, because obviously the history and everything like that. But that would be pretty nice, and it's fitting, isn't it? But playing the old course with the old bats doesn't get much better.
No, we spoke to Jasper of the official top 100. Lovely guy, great voice, Canadian, I believe. I hope I haven't got that wrong. And he plays old persimmon clubs. He loves the ball flight. He just loves the way the ball comes off the face.
Oh,
that's it.
There's no better. I beg to differ with anyone else that say anything. When I show them, luckily I can still hit a half decent shot. Got a driver, can hit a decent ball, fairly long with a modern day driver, and it goes off like an absolute rocket. It really does, high, but and it doesn't move, doesn't diva too much. Where the persimmon, it's just there's a different window it goes through. It's just a different window it goes through, and it's an old school window. It's low, it's runny, it's working. You know what I mean? You shape it round corners easier. You're able to draw it. Modern day golf clubs now, it's hard to draw a ball. You know what I mean? It's more up for fade bias. And there's just more on the line with it. And for that reason, I love it. I love it that it just keeps you on your toes. It makes you hit the swing that is like 80%, not 100%. Do you know what I mean? You're not throwing the kitchen sink at it. If you do, well, if it comes off, brilliant, well done. But if it doesn't, well, then you're going to look a bit silly, but it is what
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely. No, I mean, you just said it, and I was going to say as well, watch this space, because I love the conversation we had up in Scotland. It's obviously very, it's a passion of yours now, and whether there's tournaments for it, I think there will be, but there's certainly a caliber or a type or a nostalgic player that loves still playing this stuff and has fallen in love with golf as it used to be. So there'll always be a market. I'm sure there'll always be a market.
Yeah, and there's golf courses out there that, haven't got the room or the space that are still brilliant and well adapt to using this type of stuff, where the modern day clubs are overpowering their that local golf course. So, they suit the old style. Go down to Cornwall and play Newquay or St Enodoc or, down there, or Saunton or local ones around here where I live, happy days, that it suits them down to the ground. But modern day equipment just take it over corners now and belittle the golf course and just hit flicks in for second shots instead of hitting a 7-iron and having to work it. It's and bleed up a green. It's no better in my opinion. But the game's gone on.
Yeah, Prestwick would be a good one, because that's a leavable course that's not been able to be lengthened too much and has got the history of the original Open. That'd be a great tournament. See if we can make that happen.
Well, that'd be good, mate. That was the one that actually Ricky Fowler went and played, and he asked me if I wanted to play with him, and it was round Prestwick. I never got to play Prestwick, so I'm all game, mate. I'm all game.
I was up there talking to the pros, so I'm going to make that happen. We'll get up there, we'll have a round of golf, get it up at Prestwick, and we'll hit some persimmons. How about that?
No, mate, jobs are good, and I'm in. I'm all in. I'm all in, mate. I'm all in. So, no, it's been great, mate. It's been lovely to speak to you as well. It's nice to talk all golf, innit? It's lovely, especially when we're passionate like we are. Can't get enough of it.
My final question, let's finish on this one. It's come from one of our new friends, actually, Instagram account, Golfing the File, Ryan. And he wanted me to ask you, what's your top 5 favourite courses?
Oh, shoot. Top 5 favourite golf course. Any order? Random. Random. For hairs on the back of your head all day long, start and finish, old course. That's not necessarily my number one, just the whole vibe of it all, just love it. I think, that's pretty common for the masses. I must admit, I've yet to play it, but I love the way Troon sets up. Every time I've gone there, I was there for when Stenson won it. I was there for the last one as well. Just amazing golf course. Love that golf course. Just dying to play it. Birkdale, I'm dying to see. I've only seen it on TV, but I won't put that in my top 5 because I haven't played it. Walked round it yet. It's been one of those that's just, by me by. Obviously, got to walk round Augusta.
Yep.
I went over there, had 2 days, just in the practice rounds. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. Couldn't believe how hilly it was, to be honest. But I thought it was just attention to detail, phenomenal. I would put that in there. Friars Head, where they just went and played before the Ryder Cup, just along from where Shinnecock is. Beautiful golf course, very kind of Whistling Straitsy. That's a great golf course, I would say. And I got to say, Pebble is freaky. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's freaky. Got to have a nice hole in one there on the 7th when I played it in a practice round. That was always nice. So it was, I had Tom Watson looking over at me when I had it as well. So that was icing on the cake. But just some place that is.
That's a great 5. Well, look, listen, John, I can see why the tour has you on staff. You're a great ambassador for the game. We will make a game happen. I hope we will see each other again, whether it's Prestwick or whether it's somewhere else. Love to do this again.
All right, mate. No, thank you very much for having me, Mark. And thanks a lot, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Top man.
So there you go. That was my chats with John E. Morgan. I don't know why everyone says John E. Morgan. They don't say Mark S. Perring, which is my surname, but I suppose there's a couple of John Morgans in golf, and it's just always stuck. But yeah, that was the combination of a couple of hours of chatting to John. He is winging his way to the Ned Bank Challenge, which isn't actually this week. We've got some pretty awesome golf going on in Melbourne, Australia, as we speak. That's the time of recording this little outro. But what a guy, and hopefully we'll get a chance to make that little competition or that day out or something explode with a persimmon based tournament up at Prestwick. We've already reached out to them. We're waiting for their reply. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, lots and lots of just fun stuff to reflect upon. And I'm not going to use this opportunity to talk about it, because I'm sure you had your favourites and your little stories that you found quite humorous as well as interesting. And yeah, I mean, what will happen with Adair Manor? Will John be right? Will we get one of those 3 captains' picks when it comes to golfing the Fylde? Asked him to name, would you agree? Any of those top 5 courses make it into your list? Just so much that we talked about. Will Marco Penge continue to have dominance over in the PGA Tour as he's had here in the DP World Tour? Whatever happens, John will carry on being John, and we as golf connoisseurs around the world continue to love hearing his take on it. So until next week, when we bring you a new and very intriguing aspect of golf, we're going down a road, Chris and I together this time, that we haven't been down before. Think you like that one, but we'll save it till next week. Have a good week and don't get too wet. Cheers.